Welcome back to Peer-Guided DBT Lessons, provided by DBT Skills Application, Peers Helping Peers. This week's lesson, marked 3-7 in our Emotion Regulation module, will be examining primary emotions. Please keep in mind that we're simply peers helping peers, working together to bring about more peaceful, constructive, and ultimately happier lives. In other words, a life worth living. There are two kinds of emotional experiences. First of all, primary emotions. Some emotional experiences are primarily reactions to events in one's environment. Being angry at someone for criticizing, feeling happy that a loved one is coming to visit, being surprised that it is a nice day when rain was predicted, etc. It may also be called justified emotions. Then there are secondary emotions. Other emotional experiences are primarily reactions to one's own thoughts, actions, and feelings. For example, guilt about feeling angry, anger at being unable to remember something, shame at not doing well on a task, pride at winning a race, etc. When they are emotional reactions to our own emotions, they are called secondary emotions or unjustified emotions. This week, our focus will be on primary emotions. You are born with primary emotions wired into your brain. That wiring causes your body to react in certain ways and for you to have certain urges when the emotion arises. Primary emotions are those that we feel first, as a first response to a situation. Thus, if we're threatened, we may feel fear. When we hear of a death, we may feel sadness. They are unthinking, instinctive responses that we have. Primary emotions are fairly simple to understand. They are your reactions to external events. Some precipitating event may cause you to experience emotion. You may feel sad when someone hurt you, or anxious about an upcoming test, or so happy you can't contain it. Does the emotion fit the facts? The easiest way to figure out whether you are experiencing a primary or secondary emotion is to ask whether the emotion and its intensity fit the facts of the situation. If your emotion fits the facts, it is usually a primary emotion. If it does not fit the facts, it is usually a secondary emotion. So ask yourself, does it fit the facts? Is the emotion the most logical considering the circumstances? Check. Is it one of the basic emotions? Check. Does the intensity of the emotion fit the situation? Check. Was this the first emotion felt following the triggering event? Check. Is this emotion motivating me to act? Check. If your emotion fits the facts, it is usually a primary emotion. Anger fits the facts when, for example, obstacles get in the way of an important goal. Things are not turning out the way you'd hoped. You suffer a loss of power, status, or respect. Your life or that of someone you care about is threatened. You or someone you care about is being attacked or threatened by others. Pain. Can you think of others? Some physiological responses to this may be blood rushing to your face, flushing or feeling hot, tight muscles, clenched hands, clamped teeth, unwanted, uncontrollable tears. If the feelings are more intense than the facts of the situation should warrant, then this may be a second emotion, or a secondary emotion may be amplifying the anger. So ask yourself, Does the intensity of feeling fit the situation? Fear fits the facts when your life, health, or well-being is threatened. The life, health, or well-being of someone you care about is threatened. Some physiological responses to this might be breathlessness, shortness of breath, or rapid shallow breaths, rapid racing heartbeat, lump in the throat, choking sensation, possibly with the urge to scream, clenched teeth, tense muscles, cramping, butterflies in the stomach, nausea, spine-tingling chill, hair standing on end, feeling cold or clammy. Again, ask yourself, does the intensity of feeling fit the situation? Joy fits the facts when, for example, you get something you want, worked hard for, or worried about. Reality exceeds your expectations. You achieve a desirable outcome, success. You are accepted by others, belong with them. You receive love, affection, respect, or praise from another. Can you think of others? Some physiological responses to this may be physical energy, face flushing, overall warmth, relaxed muscles, sensation of lighter weight. Again, ask yourself, does the intensity of feeling fit the situation? Sadness fits the facts when, for example, you irretrievably lose something or someone. A loved one dies. You are separated from someone you love. Things are worse than you expected. You're not getting what you have worked for or what you believe you need in life. Someone rejects, disapproves of, or excludes you. You are powerless or helpless. Someone you love is sad or suffering. Some physiological responses to this might be emptiness, pain or hollowness in your chest or gut, difficulty swallowing, breathlessness, dizziness, tiredness, listlessness, weakness, loss of energy, strong desire to cry, feeling additional weight or heaviness. So ask yourself, does the intensity of feeling fit the situation? Disgust fits the facts when, for example, you have any contact with, seeing, touching, smelling, or tasting anything that is repelling or seems unclean. You are exposed to feces, urine, blood, a corpse, a filthy person or animal. You have to touch something owned and used by a stranger, dead person, or someone you dislike. Observing or hearing about cruelty, abuse, oppression, betrayal, or deep violations of your values. Exposed to unwanted sexual contact. Can you think of any others? Some physiological responses to this might be dizziness and fainting, having a lump in your throat, aversion to drinking or eating, nausea, vomiting, gagging, choking, feeling contaminated, dirty, unclean, or mentally polluted. So ask yourself, does the intensity of feeling fit the situation? Plutchik's basic emotions is the most consistently accepted emotion theory. His remaining basic emotions, acceptance, anticipation, and surprise, have more variety of causes. This makes checking for the universal feelings and causes not a reliable determination of primary. Any basic emotion can also be secondary, Basic does not always equal primary. Many theorists repeat Plutchik's theory of basic emotions. Often the same type of emotion is listed at differing strengths. There are still a couple of emotions not yet covered that some consider to be basic, therefore may be considered primary. Love fits the facts when, for example, you have exceptionally good communication with a person. You spend a lot of time with a person. You share a special experience or have fun with a person. A person gives you or does something you want or need. A person has qualities and traits that you find admirable. You feel physically attracted to someone. Can you think of others? Some physiological responses to this might be, you feel energetic, excited, fast heartbeat, feeling warm and secure, calm and relaxed, desire for that person mentally, emotionally, and physically, desire for the time, permanence, and attention of that person, concern for the well-being of that person, wishing to bring them happiness. So ask yourself here, does the intensity of feeling fit the situation? Shame fits the facts when, for example, others find out about or remind you that you've done something wrong or immoral. You are doing, feeling, or thinking something people you admire think is immoral. You're betrayed. Exposure to things you'd rather keep private. Public criticism, having your integrity attacked. Rejection, especially if you expected praise. You feel like you don't live up to a standard. You fail at things you know how to do. You are being made fun of. You have physical characteristics you dislike. Can you think of others? Some physiological responses to this might be pain in the pit of the stomach, short of breath, physically attempting to hide, slumped or slouched posture, covering your face or body, a heavy feeling. So ask yourself, does the intensity of the feeling fit the situation? This model for describing emotions has been simplified to include only the primary emotions. You'll find a blank worksheet in your lesson handouts. The initial emotional response you have to what is occurring is a primary emotion. These powerful feelings arise quickly and don't require cognitive processing of the event. If you found out you just won the lottery, you would likely have an instant emotional response of joy or surprise. On the other hand, if you just found out that a loved one has passed away, you would likely feel a powerful emotion quite quickly, one of sadness. A complicated example of the difference between primary and secondary emotions is feeling anxious, primary, about an important presentation at work or school, then becoming depressed, secondary, while thinking about the overwhelming anxiety. Later feeling worthless, secondary, about feeling unable to make the presentation. Then feeling guilt, secondary, the day after the presentation about having made such a big deal about it in the first place. Emotions quickly and easily become layered on top of one another as situations unfold until it becomes more and more difficult to remember what we were feeling in the first place. Sometimes knowing which came first and coping with the primary emotion first can save secondary ones from occurring. Next week in our peer-guided DBT lessons emotion regulation module, don't miss out on our continuation of examining primary and secondary emotions and how to cope with them.